And I know that this whole COVID situation is still going on, and it's not easy for any one of us, but it's happened for a reason. It's a good chance for us to build that connection with ourselves that we have been neglecting for years. And there are three levels, three areas of connecting to yourself that I would like to share with all of you. The first area is that you have to connect with yourself physically. And the whole COVID situation really taught me a lesson about how we should really take care of our well-being, how we should really stay healthy, because it's the only way for us to help other people, and how we can, we have to connect with our physiology in order to boost our immune system. And only when we're healthy we can help other people. Like, only when we are healthy physically can we help the people around us transform into the greatest version of themselves. It's really easy. It's just being mindful about what you put inside your body, being mindful about your sleep, being mindful about how you should stay physically active. And it's all about focusing on, building that state of vitality. It's all about building that state of feeling good about yourself, feeling good physically. So that's the first area that I would like to share. And in the past year, I also did a lot of upgradings to my health and my, physiology. And I have registered to um, participate in a half marathon run in October this year.
Wow.
So that's my way to update my physical health, because I just want to feel good. And it sometimes requires discipline. It sometimes requires you to be mindful enough to listen to what your body is telling you. So that's the first area. The second area of connecting from within that I would like to talk about is connect with yourself mentally. So what does it mean staying connected to yourself mentally? Is all about, building powerful moments in your life, especially when the whole COVID situation is happening. You have to, you know, you have to transfer your work and everything to the online platform, and everything is happening so much faster than it did before. But during that, during that kind of storming circumstances, you have to slow yourself down. You have to slow yourself down in order to look inside yourself, and really ask yourself what makes your life powerful, and what makes you become a powerful person, and what can you do better to build more powerful moments in your life. Because as I graduated from high school last year, and as I start stepping into the adult life, I have realized one lesson, which is the material gains and the money, or the success or the fame or the power, it's ultimately not something that would make you happy or make you strong mentally. But what you discipline yourself with, what you hold as the values and beliefs inside you, that what makes you really become a powerful person. And when you focus on, building that mental state of happiness, if you focus on, building and cultivating the happiness within you, then you will become a powerful person. And only when you are happy, only when you feel that sense of freedom, that sense of powerfulness, that sense of empowerment, can you really change people's lives? Because if you chase after the money, if you chase after the material gains, then you would have failed even before you started the journey. So that's my takeaways when I start stepping into my adult lives and I start experiencing this kind of, business life. And also when I start, stepping into my university studies, I really realized that we we are not, eventually when we leave this world, our success would not be measured by how much money we make, or how famous we are, or how powerful we are, how successful we are. But the real success is now, right at the moment. You don't have to wait until you succeed from the outside to become successful. But if you are happy, if you become a better version of yourself each day, and you discipline yourself enough, you love yourself enough to build powerful moments in your life, and to discipline yourself to become better person, then you already succeed. You don't have to wait until you become a millionaire or you reach a certain level in your business to call yourself successful. Because I now call myself a successful person because I'm happy with the present moment. And if you keep chasing after that, material gains from the outside, it would never be enough. It would never be enough. And you would always find yourself in that state of lacking because you have to chase. When you have to find something or chase something, it means that you are not having it, right? And you will constantly put yourself into that state of chasing or finding something in the future. What I'm telling you is that this whole COVID situation is a great opportunity for us to really learn the lessons that all that we are looking in our life already exists in the present moment. So that's how I build a powerful mental state for myself. And I just like the video that you have just listened to. It's not about the results that matter, but it's about the process that matter. Sometimes we focus too much on the results that we forget about the fun of enjoying the process. And it's always the process that make the results worthy. It's always the process that makes you happy and makes your journey become a powerful one. So that's the first point in building a powerful mental state. And the second point is that you really have to build this, I call it the raw connection with yourself. Because before COVID, we were all so busy that we kind of neglect our inner self. We we don't really spend much time listening to ourselves. And when I practice mindfulness, there's one thing that I realize is that every one of us has an inner child, and we have to spend time listening to our inner voice. We have to spend time listening to ourselves without judgment. We always do that to other people, but we rarely do that to ourselves. We can be so forgiving to the people around us. We can be so caring and so loving to the people around us. But sometimes we just neglect our own self. And the raw connection that I'm talking about is that listening to your emotions, listening to your thoughts, listening to what the inner voice inside you is saying without any judgment. And often successful people or people with high status always struggle with is that they cannot take it when they have to face the darkness in themselves. and they always, you know, hide from the negative emotions, the negative or the limiting part of them, because they feel like it is not compatible to what they're presenting outside. But that's the whole point, accepting that you're not perfect no matter how successful you are. I'm not perfect as well, and I'm totally okay with that. And the raw connection here is to stay true to yourself, even stay true to your negative side, or stay true to the part of you that still need to improve without any judgment. And you really have to, you know, when you fully understand yourself, you would be able to accept who you really are, both your limitations and both your, you know, inner gift, what you are already good at. And having limitation doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Having limitation only means that you are human and you still have room for growth. And that's the second area of connecting from within that I would like to share about. And the last one is connecting to yourself spiritually. So what does it mean to connect with yourself spiritually? Along my journey, there were so many times where I felt lost, where I felt like when I have to encounter a certain challenge or a certain problems, I was kind of overwhelmed. And I know that we all do. We are all human, so we all feel overwhelmed when we have to encounter a certain problems or a certain challenge that we haven't known the answer to yet. But practicing mindfulness at a spiritual level is simply that you are aware that we are only souls coming into a physical body to experience this life, and we all come to this life with a life purpose of our own. We all have our own missions in life. We all have our own things to do in life, and we eventually, everything that we do in this life, everything we do in this life, including our work, including our relationship, including every single moments that we get to experience in this life, they are the lessons that we have to learn as a soul. And we only use this physical body as a tool for us to learn in this life, to get you know, spiritually evolved. So when we move to the next stage of you know, next stage of being, after we passed away, we get to, you know, our soul really evolved to another level with all the lessons that we get to learn in this life. So just don't be so blurred or so overwhelmed, or just don't just not to worry so much about the things that you are experiencing, the hardship that you're going through, the adversities that you're going through, because eventually those things happen for a reason. And the reason is that we have to see all those challenges as just a game, and we have to just enjoy it, enjoy the process of, you know, growing doesn't always feel good, but when you are going through a tough time, it just only means that you're learning as a soul coming into this physical world, physical body, and you belong to something even higher than yourself. And your ultimate goal in life, your ultimate purpose in life, is to learn and evolve as a person and as an individual in the universe. So that's some of my sharing, some of the experience that I get to, you know, really been through in the last year, and it has taught me a lot. You know, especially when the COVID situation is getting more serious. It's really important for us to just slow down because, you know, the world is spinning even faster when we take things online. Everything is happening, you know, at an unbelievable pace. So you really have to slow down to come back to the old school stuff. You really have to come back to the rawest and realest connection, especially with yourself. And the faster the world moves, the slower you need to become to you know, to stay rooted to what's true it's about yourself, to stay rooted to your inner values and inner beliefs. So when you build your roots deep, when you have um, this, you know, deep connection with yourself, you are like a tree with deep roots, and you would not be shaken or you would not be moved by any storm or any wind that is swirling outside. So that's my sharing about connecting from within.
Love you, Jenny. Love you.
Yeah.
Wow,
Just
what a
like Jenny, love you.
surprise.
I'm just going to put on one picture back that you just saw, and I'm going to continue, let you guys have this conversation with Jenny. Is basically, right, if some of you have not seen her and wondering who is this lady, yeah, that was the lady that I showed you just now in the beginning, that I think in 2017, yeah, we had that Zoom kind of meeting with your team, and you see the lady there, yeah, that is Jenny, right? So I'm going to now leave the talk. Yeah, so Wai Fong, that is a nice surprise for you and your team, right? I prefer it.
Thank you for that. I was so
Thank you,
surprised.
Joe. Thank you.
Yeah, and we do
Guys,
have somebody very young on board today with us. Her name is Vicky. She's also just graduated. Yeah, so you're such an inspiration to her. I believe, huh, Vicky? She's
So I would like to introduce a little bit about myself. My name is Jenny. My Vietnamese name, I'm a Vietnamese, and my Vietnamese name is Huong Giang. I have been a trainer, an NLP trainer, and a coach for almost 5 years. And I am now 19. I just graduated from high school last year. And I'm now studying. I major in nutrition and exercise in the University of Australia, and right now I'm, you know, working to build my own legacy in coaching and training. I want to. My mission in life is to really just help people become happier and transform themselves into the greatest version that they can possibly be. Um, and I I I really, you know, I have met a lot of people who say that I was too young, but you know, I think age would not define how successful, or it would not define your potential. It's just the belief that you build upon yourself that really matters. And along my journey, I have met even younger people than myself that are already, you know, inspiring and motivating the adults around them. So um, together we can, you know, we are the pieces in the puzzle to help build a big picture and have to help build a greater community to help the people around us. So yeah, that's a little bit information about myself.
Vicky, are you shocked that she's only 19 years old?
No, because she looks like that, and she said she just graduated from high school, so I can already
Yeah.
like guess her age is. Nice to
And
meet
she's
you,
been a
Jenny.
coach for 5 years, you know, so she started super early, Vicky.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to see you, like Jenny. What a surprise. Nice one you spring on us. It's
yeah,
a good one. It's a good one.
So
yeah. age doesn't define. Age does not define. Yeah, I like
Yes,
that.
it does not define. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you very much for coming on board. That shows how powerful it
My
is. You know,
pleasure.
this morning we have people from Singapore, we have from Vietnam. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That's how
Jenny,
powerful.
you're in Vietnam, or you studied in
Yeah.
Australia, but you're still in
I'm
Vietnam.
in Vietnam, but I do full-time online studying, which means that I will
Right.
be do my university full-time online, and I will be graduated online as well. So I can spend more time, doing my own things in my country.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay, that's amazing.
Fantastic.
I'm really like other 19-year-old kid where I still experience with things in my life, and I think the really what makes you become a rich person is not the amount of money that you make, but the amount of experience you get to have in your life. So the whole COVID situation really make me slow myself down to ask myself the important question: what I really want to do in life, whether I would like to have material success, or I would like to feel happy. I think that we can have both, but I would prioritize my happiness because it's in the long run. It's the long-term kind of happiness where you do things that you are passionate about, where you get to experience different things in your life. It's always the try and error kind of process. So you can always try something new as long as those things make you happy. And if I really believe that if I'm consistent in doing what I'm passionate about, then I will naturally attract the material success, because when you act from the state of fulfillment, if you act from a state of prosperity, you will naturally attract prosperity into your life. So that's why I was sharing that building that state, that inner state, is really important, because once you get yourself into that inner state of fulfillment, of peace, of freedom, then you will naturally attract those things from the outside. But when you act from a state of lacking, when you act from a state of confusion, or when you act from a state, any state that is not making you happy, then naturally the things outside will collapse as well. That's what I'm experienced in the last 2020. That's why right now my priority is to build my roots deep, so that build my foundation deep, so that I can help more people, and I will evolve as a person later in my life. I'm in that stage of building. So it's the same to all of us, actually.
Thank you very much.
So I think now is kind of like we say sometimes, so open up for questions, right? It can be questions on your insurance, the challenges that you're facing, or certain kind of thinking that you have that you love to share, right? Both Jenny and myself, we are both here to be with you. We don't sell insurance, but we are people that know the importance of insurance, right? Because people do not wake up to buy insurance. People buy insurance because they know they may not wake up. Right? So just think about anything that while we still have, it's always nice to have these interactions. Yeah.
I want to be the first to ask, as usual. Hi, Jenny. So good to see you. Yeah, relating to just now you were saying the raw connection with yourself. Yeah, I think it's a very relevant topic, because you know, in this situation, sometimes in the pandemic, we do feel frustrated. You know, there are some people whom we try to get the connection, but we can't, you know, and then we are just not getting the results that we want because we are actually chasing for results rather than pursuing, like you say, you know, the process. So how do you do the raw connection with yourself?
The one way that I would often, like, it has become my habit, is I will write down my emotions, and I will, you know, sometimes I have this kind of self-talk. I would literally look at the mirror and talk to myself as if I'm talking to a friend. And it helped me a lot because, you know, during the pandemic, we would not always be able to meet up with other
People.
people. And sometimes the online conversation doesn't really work because it doesn't transcend the real energy. So we really have to do that to ourselves rather than expecting having someone for us to talk to, because that obviously that would not always be possible. So why don't we become our own friends, our own, we can rely on our own self, because that's exactly what I was struggling with in the past year. When we were going through social distancing and lockdown, I was literally cut off with the, the outer world, and I wasn't able to talk or really connect with anyone. And I went through a really tough times during last year. But then I realized that if I continue to put my happiness into other people's hands, like I always expect people to help me become happy, then I wouldn't always get the happiness that I want, but I have to build it for myself. And I started to sit down and started asking myself question: how can I make me become happier, or how I can make myself become happier? And I became my own friend. I realized that I can only rely on myself, and I started spend times doing things that you know upgrade my energy, doing something that I love, spending time to really take care of yourself, to give yourself, to like kind of pamper yourself and spend times doing things that you enjoy. It's really helpful, and it upgraded my energy to a whole new level, because I know that I can create happiness by myself. And then and then when the COVID situation in Vietnam kind of dimmed down, then I was able to connect with other people even better, because I already have this connection within myself. Like one of the gurus that some of you may know, Singh, uh yoga master Singh, has said one thing to me that still hits me up until today. He said that if you don't have at least 1 hour for yourself a day, you don't deserve to live. And that really hits me, because we're often so busy that we kind of abandon ourselves and our well-being. So every day I wake up, the first thing that I would prioritize is how to feel good. How can I feel good during the day? It's my first priority. And feeling good doesn't always come from relaxing or doing something that you enjoy, but sometimes feels good also comes from discipline and doing things that you kind of outside of your comfort zone. So it's the important questions that we have to ask our own self and figure out on our own. How can we become happier? How can we feel good? How can we feel better? And what are the things that we can do to to stay rooted to ourselves. What are the things that we can do to make ourselves feel loved, feel connected, and feel happy? So once you have all the answer to those questions, then I think it will be good. Like eventually we will have this deep connection with ourselves.
You were mentioning, is it write down your emotions, is it?
Yeah.
Your oh, okay. So you kind of like question yourself and ask yourself, what are your emotions? And then you write it down and then you handle it.
Yeah, I actually it's when you get to know about energy, you will see that everything in the universe is energy. And sometimes we feel something is wrong inside us because there are certain energy that is stuck from within. And sometimes, that is the reason why we need friends to talk to. We need, friends that we can rely on, friends that are trustworthy, so we can, spill our guts to them. Not because we need advice during that tough times, but because we need to let that stuck energy to flow out. And when the stuck energy flow out, we get clear inside our minds. We can eventually see the answer inside us. So what to do when you have no friends available for you to talk to is to write down your emotions. I have a whole notebook for doing it. Like whenever I feel down, I would write down my emotion as a way for me to transcend my energy, to let that, stuck energy flow out. And once the energy is transformed, then I would be clear and I would know exactly what I have to do next with myself. It's a way to practice mindfulness because when you study about energy, everything in the universe is literally energy.